Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome day. Today's a very special day. I'm sitting here with my buddy Pete Fenech from Morley, and we're going to talk today about the power of utility, which Morley is known for. And you guys need to appreciate the power of utility, because the problem with utility products is you guys think this comes bottom of the list. As a matter of fact, it works side by side. So I'm going to talk to a pro of utility today, right here, right now, Mr. Pete Fenech in the house, y'all. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, man. Well, I am doing fantastic. How have you been?
Great, man. A little bit cold. The winter is here. I thought we weren't going to have a winter.
This room I'm sitting in, we got the giant glass window, so I had to bundle up for the interview,
So, dude, today we are here together because we're going to talk about the power of utility. What does that mean, a utilitarian product?
For Morley, we've been around. We've been in the business for more than 50 years, and our company was born, building a better mousetrap, that utility, things that benefit you that you need, things that benefit you while you're playing, things that benefit the gig. That's what utility is.
That's right. It's an additive product. In other words, you add that product to something that you already have that give it benefits.
Exactly.
This year, Morley has been at the cusp of coming up with some of the greatest stuff. Some new products are on the way. NAMM 2024 is back in play at its regular time and place. I believe that our buddy Scott Feetsum is going to be tripping out over there.
That's right. Mr. Morley is going to be walking the NAMM show floor, and we got some exciting products being displayed at our U.S. distributor Hal Leonard's booth. We got our new volume commander that dropped this fall. I mean, speaking about utility, this is a very effective tone shaping tool. We also have the hum removal toolkit. We had an epiphany, we make a lot of hum products. If one doesn't solve the hum, the other will. We've got the hum eliminator. This thing has been around for a very long time. You throw it on your audio cables for your audio connection. If you're getting electromagnetic interference, you got a great apartment, but it happens to be right next to a radio station. You're getting all sorts of stuff coming in your signal. This is the way to fix it. But what's coming in through your power? Well, that's where the new Humno comes from. And this is like a super HumX. This product, the HumX, this has been in the market for more than 20 years. It's available only in North America. And we have finally developed one that works worldwide. And of course, that is the Humno. It also comes apart like this. So if you have any misbehaving bandmates, you can go ahead and use it like a whip.
That's a genius product, by the way. The fact that it works with everything, doesn't matter where you're at and what country, I got to tell you, that is a strong product.
Our engineers, very bright people, and we spent time. We put the time in and did it right and came up with the Humno, and it's been quite awesome. We launched it in Europe first, and now it's worldwide, and it's selling very well. And now you can get both the Hum Eliminator and the Humno in the same package. And what's even better is not only if one doesn't solve the problem, the other will, but you get $50 off retail price.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
well, that's amazing.
Yeah, if you bought each one of these individually, you'd be spending $50 more than buying this hum removal toolbox. And plus, these things are built for a lifetime of use. This is cold rolled steel. This doesn't require a power supply. These things are built like a tank. The Humno as well. This is very well protected. A very special blend of resin too, which is environmentally friendly. This can get rolled over by a road case by mistake. It's still going to work just fine.
Morley's always been known for making ridiculously strong, long-lasting products. I have some stuff from the 70s that still works perfectly. I've never had a problem with any single Morley pedal I own. I've been a big fan of that company from as far as I can remember. So let's start back at the top here. Morley Volume Commander. So this is a very interesting pedal. It's a volume-based pedal that lets you control the input level of what it's going into or what's coming out of it, depending on where you want to place it in the chain. And it's got some EQ ability, multiple channels that can also be used together to come up with some other kind of possibilities that you can decide on what you love yourself. It basically works with all your pedals. And one of my favorite things that I discovered with it, with all the experimenting I've been doing, is plugging it straight into my freaking DAW and using it with my virtual amps and pedals.
Hey guys, this is Momo, and I'm now going to show you what happens with the Morley volume commander when you plug it straight into your DAW, your interface, computer interface that is. And we're going to be able to use the volume commander the same exact way we use it with your real life amplifiers and pedals, except that we're going to hook this up to your computer. You're going to be able to put the volume commander on the floor and wind up using it as if you have a 3-channel amp. Pretty freaking cool if you ask me. So let me show you how this works. I've got a virtual amp opened up right behind me over here. It is a Universal Audio Fender Deluxe. I've got it on the Cinnamon Girl plugin, which sounds like this. Very nice sounding little amp. And I've got the volume commander over here plugged straight into my sound card. And what's happening is I've got both volumes set to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. My tone over here set to bright for channel 1 and warm for channel 2. And on the EQ section, I've got channel 1 set to fine, which is in the middle. And I've got channel 2 set to deep, which is the biggest bass cut. I'm now going to show you what happens when you take the volume commander in order to get multiple channels out of your virtual amp. So here is the amp with absolutely no volume commander. I'm going to turn on channel 1 and we're going to notice a cleanup drop. As you can see, great little rhythm drop for you so that when your lead singer starts singing the first verse, you ain't burying them in the gain that you should be using in the chorus. Now we're going to go over to channel 2, which has got an even deeper cut. Here's with nothing. Now channel 2 has got that super cut. I love this kind of cut because it's the kind of cut where you can do like single note shit. And if you take it off, yeah, the volume commander meets your digital virtual amp.
There isn't really, unless you go with some whole kind of elaborate MIDI setup, there is no plug and play control situation that involves like EQ and channeling on your virtual stuff. This product is really cool to keep on your desktop when you got it plugged into there, if you wanted to be able to work with your hands to shut it on and off. I do this with my wahs all the time. They're switchless. If you remember, Pete, I had done a video a few years ago where I put like some wahs up on 2 stands, and I was able to actually stand up, play my bass, and play 2 wahs, one on either side, and come up with like some kind of groove and interaction. You know what I mean? A utilitarian interaction, actually.
That video was fantastic. I like stepping on my wah pedal, but being able to use it, especially with that switchless feature, it adds a whole new dimension to your performance. Plus, it's kind of cool. It's like up there on the pedestal. It's like, oh, what's that? For the volume commander, it really is a brilliant device, and it just gives you so many options. A lot of times as musicians, we kind of overlook little utility products like this, of where it may not be as sexy as something like, oh, here's this new fuzz or distortion pedal or this new amp or whatnot. But I like to look at it as like an extension of my guitar, per se. And I've got I have a unique guitar. It was built by a friend of mine. He built around 100-something guitars. It has a Duncan Invader in the bridge, just super high output passive pickup. I get enough gain that I want really out of any pedal, even just like a very light overdrive. But sometimes, I don't want that flavor per se, so I can use the volume commander. I can go to my neck pickup, which is a Duncan JB, great pickup, and I can cut all that muck out, or put it on the deep setting for the low cut, and it just opens up a whole new pickup flavor for it. It's almost like I took the pickup and I moved it down on the guitar, which is crazy. So we're just having those utility options. Every situation is unique. You never know what you're going to roll up into, especially recording too. I mean, you want to spend the time getting that perfect tone. So with the volume commander, since I've been playing it, I found it, I like how you said, keep it like right up there on, like next to your desktop, and your interface. It's an extension of your guitar. If I need those extra options, I got it. And it's not like, there's other EQ pedals out there. If you booster cut certain frequencies, it may introduce noise to your tone, and that's, it's not the end of the world. But with the volume commander, you don't get that. These are great presets, and it's not going to affect your tone negatively in that sense. So it's I love it. It's just like it's the little utility box. You don't leave home.
That's amazing. It's amazing, and like you said, it unleashes the different sounds. So you may get yourself a great fuzz that you love and a great distortion that you love, and you realize that by setting the volumes and the EQs in different places, all of a sudden it's like you have two other new pedals.
Yeah, or like you got your favorite pedal. Like I love our Power Fuzz Wah. It's a wild animal, especially the classic version. It's like the full stack of pedals. As like it may not be pedal board friendly, but you slap this thing down and you're going to get noticed on stage, and just how it sounds is incredible. I can never decide between the full on blast, intensity of the gain, or cutting it back just for some nice subtle clipping. So using the volume commander and opening that up, I can get both. I don't have to have a second fuzz pedal on my board. I could use the volume commander, so that way I can get that full devastation with the gain and then cut it back. But what's cool with the volume commander is with your fuzz pedals cranked, you get that sputtery. It's just it's like a dying amplifier, but it's just like now the level's being brought down, and I love it. And just you wouldn't be able to do that without the volume commander.
Yeah, you guys out there, volume commander. It's available now, and it's the kind of pedal that's just going to add some massive creativity. And a closing thing on that, I really love this cut thing on here, especially when you bring it down to the deep. For those of you who were always into, that kind of British Brian May sound, even the guy from Zeppelin, you know what I mean? There's certain people that got this particular kind of cutting sound. You can get that with this.
Hey guys, this is Momo, and today I'm going to show you the power of the Morley Volume Commander and the possibilities of how it turns all the pedals that you already own into 3-channel machines just by hitting on these foot switches, adjusting these volume knobs, and clicking these little switches over here to give you different EQ possibilities. The Volume Commander consists of 2 channels of independent volume. We have 2 on and off switches over here. We have 2 volumes over here. When these volumes are full, anything that goes through this is nominal. Over here, we have a switch that goes from bright to warm for both channels, and we have another switch over here that is on none, fine, and deep when it comes to cutting the muck out of your signal. All right, now I'm going to show you exactly how the Volume Commander operates in real time when I plug it into a pedal. And it's going to be real cool because I'm going to show you how transparent this pedal actually is. It's totally true bypass. So when I turn it on, it really won't make a difference, which is already great. So here's my clean sound. And today I'm going to be doing this with this germanium filter by Death by Audio. So if I turn it on, we got some crunch. So If we turn on the pedal, you can hear there is no difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to consider that this pedal right here, right now, is channel 1 with its distortion going on. We are now going to create a second channel of sound using the volume commander, and it's going to happen like this. First, we start with the volume. I'm going to bring this down to what I consider to be my second sound, and you can put it anywhere you want, but this is where I'm going to do this today. As you can hear, so we have a second channel happening right here. Now we're going to go over to channel 2 of the volume commander, and for this one we have some cuts and we have some EQ possibilities here with these little switches. So we're going to go ahead and bring down the volume to another level. Let's say right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my EQ switch here that I just love, because when I kick this thing on to its highest unit, and we'll go there for now, for today, to show you its maximum cut, which I love because it reminds me of some kind of freaking treble booster, that kind of Brian May sound and stuff that I absolutely love. So we got this. Oh. So we definitely have 3 amazing usable sounds, like a 3-channel amp, coming right from this pedal. Let me show you some examples of some of these other pedals. One of my favorite overdrive pedals, made by Earthquaker Devices. I've got it set sounding like this. Channel 1 of the volume commander. Channel 2. Really, really cool and usable for creativity, for recording, for live. One of my favorite distortions. It is a pedal made by Orange called the Orange Distortion, and it sounds like this. Channel 1. Channel 2. Right on. The Morley Volume Commander is here, and it's going to work with all the pedals that you already own by giving them multiple channels that are foot switchable and EQable right there at your feet, as well as work with all your amps, be it tube, transistor, or virtual, and inside your effects loop. The truth is, subtleties is where it really matters. And in the end, when it comes to creating and giving your pedals those amazing options, all those pedals that you already own, by basically turning them into kind of 3-channel amps, and really you can turn them both on at the same time and get some other kind of 4th sound that you get between blending them the way you'd like. There are so many things that you can do with this amazing pedal, and I wish you guys the absolute best creativity and possibilities in your options using the Morley Volume Commander.
I was talking to Scott one day, and I told him this great story. When I was working with Ubisoft, I got to do some major productions in a major studio. And there was this engineer over there, the head engineer. And this guy, he worked with like Mutt Lange, and he did all the Shania Twain stuff, and he worked on some of the Def Leppard shit, this British guy.
Oh,
So I'm in there producing something. And I remember all I said to him was, hey man, can you bring up the guitars a little bit? And then the guy like turns around to me and he starts giving me shit. And he basically starts telling me, that's the problem with you fucking producers. You just always say, bring up the shit, bring up the shit. When really, if you want to hear more guitars, you should bring down the bass. So now he's giving me this like third degree about basically subtractive mixing instead of additive mixing, because every time, you know, you're in there with the band, you got the drummer, the bass player, the guitar player, quick, more kick, I need more guitar, bring up the bass, I can't hear the vocals. If everybody keeps pushing fucking shit up, before you know it, your whole mix is on fucking 10, there's no more room for mastering, and your gain structure is out the fucking door. So that was an interesting thing. It didn't end too well because he kept going on me. And at one point, I virtually grabbed his chair, which was on wheels, and I reeled him up right to my face. And I said, hey, I heard what you said. I said, but remember one thing. I'm the producer. You're working for me. You can shut up now and do whatever the fuck you want. Translate what I'm saying to any way you feel. You won't bring down the bass when I say bring down the guitar, bring up the guitar. No problem. Whatever it is. I'm not here to mess with your style. Do your thing. But it was a very interesting point and an interesting lesson that a lot of people need to learn about putting the pedal to the metal all times, because everybody wants more. You know, somebody gets a new pedal and they say, oh, I don't like this fucking pedal. It makes too much noise. It makes too much noise because you fucking cranked the whole thing to 10 and you're holding a single coil guitar in your hands and you're wondering that you think like you're the only one. Meanwhile, this pedal was used by some of the greatest people on earth. Well, understand structure, gain structure. And actually, this pedal is pretty much reminds me of part of the lessons that this engineer was spitting out at me, right? You're able to carve, you know, input levels and get those pedals to let other sounds breathe within a mix that is consisted of other frequencies, like a bass drum or like your bass player.
That's why they call it the mix. Everything there has to be a balance to it. We were recording George Lynch one time here for one of his signature pedals, and I remember he told me, you know, guitar lives in the mid-range, and being able to cut out that low end makes a huge difference. Like, you know, Jude Screamer, for instance, one of my favorite pedals. You know, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that it cuts out a lot of that low end, you know, so, and that's just one of the secrets to the circuit. That's why it sounds so great.
And the Volume Commander, by the way, people, also works with guitar, but it also works with other things. It works great on bass. It turns your bass pedals and preamps into whole other scenarios. I did one particular video with that really cool company, the Plasma pedal by Game Changer. With the Volume Commander, I virtually make it sound like a fucking Moog synth.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you what happens when I take the Game Changer Plasma pedal, which is a totally high distortion, totally freaked out distortion with like 100,000 volts or some kind of stuff like that. And when you turn this on, you get something like this. So what I do here with the Volume Commander is I've got this brought down way low in order to choke it out on channel 1. And I've got my bright switch all the way on over here. And on channel 2, I've got it down to warm. My EQ on channel 1 is off, and my EQ on channel 2, I've got it at full bright. So let's see what happens, the different variations. That's the pedal without it. If I turn this on, there we go. So now what happens is we really got like this synthy sound. Foot switchable. Now we're going to go to channel 2, where I've got the full cut and I've got this on warm, and I've got the volume up, and it's going to cut it a little different. So let's turn this on. Off. Channel 1's a bit different. Yeah, so we get like 2 channels of total control over the plasma pedal, and you can even turn this channel 2 into a full-blown mute.
As you're hitting those strings, it's just going. It's amazing. The one thing that I particularly love that almost no pedals in the world have, and that Morley is best known for, is this switchless stuff. Step on, step off. This is a special limited edition pedal that I got several years ago. That till this day, I freak out whenever I put the whoa mode on here and I put this on my bass. I kind of get this big. It's.
Oh yeah,
it blows my mind.
Shifts the envelope over to more of that low end, and it just opens it up. So like great for bass guitar, or if you're you run an electric guitar with a ton of gain, it blends very well. So that's it's one of our most versatile circuits. And with the switchless feature, which actually is something that Morley invented, by the way. The wah pedal itself has always been flawed from the start, because if you put that switch under the treadle, what's going to happen? Well, sometimes you're rocking out too hard and you accidentally hit the switch and then your wah pedal turns off. I had a Vox wah for years, V487, I forget the model number for it. It's like the basic Vox wah. It sounded great. I loved it. I used it way too much. The pot got scratchy. But it always had that problem where if I'd be rocking out too hard, sometimes I'd hit that switch and then it just throws you off. Or if you could put the wah or the switch off to the side, then you have to hit it and then you have to put your foot down. I prefer that over the switch being under the treadle.
Yeah.
But with the switchless feature, we just said one day, you know what, this switch, let's get rid of it. You start off at the lower end of the sweep, which is much more desirable. And it's great because with that utility, you can just focus right on your playing. You don't have to worry about like, hey, am I going to hit my wah pedal switch correctly this time? I'm going to walk away and my wah pedal's still on. It turns off when you want it to, and it turns off when you want it to. It's as simple as that.
And again, I'm going to tell you guys, on your desktop, because it is switchless, you could sit there. Check this shit out. I got it right here, right now. I could be working on my keyboard and my arm is leaning about it right now. And let's say I'm doing a mix, I could just lean forward like this. And what's happening is I can be like controlling, plug straight into my DAW.
You could use it as an additional filter. I mean, that's the great thing with it.
I use it as a filter all the time. This is the thing.
Everyone here at Morley, we're all players. A lot of these guys have been gigging for a very long time. So, everything you just said about, how the wah pedal is construction or treadle-based effects, I mean, every little detail we look at, like the size, the weight, is it comfortable, how it's built. These are all things that we factor into a pedal. We're all about utility and innovation over here at Morley. We build a better mousetrap. So nothing's overlooked. This isn't just another product that we slap and send out the door. This is, everything, we obsess over it.
You guys add to the power of people's creation. And you've added to the power of my creation. And what more can an artist ask for? You know what I mean? It's a gift, to be able to do that and to have different ways. And that happens through utility stuff, right? So, speaking of utility, I was talking with you the other day about these pedals, and there's a couple of amazing things you were telling me about even winding up using something like this, like some kind of like DI formation and stuff. Why don't you explain that to us for a second?
Switchers are a big part of our business. The ABY, who hasn't seen one of these pedals? And Morley, believe it or not, was actually the first company to coin the term ABY. Not that we deserve, an award or anything for that, but it was pretty cool. In the 80s, we had a standalone ABY splitter, and that coined the term, and it's a big part of our business. And of course, it's all about that utility. Having, being able to route your signal through multiple inputs, multiple outputs, it's very useful. This right here, my favorite, the ABC Pro, I like to call this the brick. It's shaped like a brick, so if you're not satisfied with it, you can return it through the window of your favorite guitar store. It's got a nice weight to it. But you're not going to do that because you're going to love this. I mean, this is specifically designed for running multiple amplifiers, and this is a great tool for the studio. You can run this out to 2 amplifiers, also have your isolated DI track. Mark Tremonti, I've had the opportunity to talk with him a couple times, and I asked him early on, I was like, hey, what's the secret to your guitar tone? He's telling me he blends 3 different amplifiers. So, using one of these, you could blend multiple amplifiers, and you've got multiple microphones on them, and just having an option to mix them down and really fine tweak it that's how he gets, his killer guitar tone. So with our switchers, this also has, isolation transformers in it, so you don't have to worry about ground loop hum, reverse polarity switches as well in case the amps are fighting with each other. But it's a very great tool. And, the regular versions, we've got the regular ABY and we've got the regular ABC. Another cool utility thing about this is that these are true bypass, but they don't require a power supply. Only the LEDs require a power supply, and the reason for that is because they are reversible, the reversible circuits. So these are really utility based. So I can run 1 input to 3 outputs, or I could bust down 3 inputs to 1 output. So really, depending on what you need. I mean, even our ABY mix, this right here, this is a 2-channel mixer in a robust pedal. So, in terms of routing your signal, like we've got it down, and you should always record with a DI track. It's just, it saves you time. Nail the take, and then go back and perfect your guitar tone. Or if you, want to use that track later on, you want to remaster that album you did many years ago, you always have that DI track. So using one of our switchers to capture that, I think, is just essential in today's world. So
reamping is actually huge. Actually, you know what? Somebody told me one time, they wrote me some really what I consider to be a dumb comment when I did a DI thing with a clean track. They wrote, "That's dumb. All you got to do is copy your track onto another track, multiply that track, and then process it different." And I'm saying to myself, wow, like you just really don't understand that by doing that, you're just basically trying to re-EQ another distorted track into something else, and it's not the same as having a totally pure, clean track. You know what I mean? This is freaking key. Even if you were going to do it, not reamping it, by having that dry track there, you're able to copy that track and process it digitally in totally different ways and achieve overlays without even having to come out with a reamp box. You know what I mean? So getting that, dry track, like you say, not only for safety, but for later on, or for reamping through different amps, but even for working internally in your DAW is key. It adds the missing definition. You know what I mean? When you're working with full out distortion and shit, everything is baked in, right? So your highs, your lows, and your mids, and depending on what's happening on the outside with the kicks and the other guitars or whatever is happening, you might need this little undercoat of a little lifter that just gives you the definition of notes for all the instruments. You know what I mean? And this is key, and a lesson to be learned for those inexperienced people who don't appreciate the utility of being able to grab, that raw, dry track.
We've all had that moment in the studio or just recording where you just, 100%, you just nailed it. It was the perfect take. Sometimes you may not get one of those in a session, but as soon as and as soon as you're done playing that and you end the track, that was it. That was the magical one. Now imagine that you didn't quite get the tone that you wanted out of that track. It's lost forever. That's why you got to record the DI. I know, you look how stressed out you're getting right now. I've had a couple of those moments, and it's because I didn't have a Morley switcher to record my DI.
We're going to end this video with playing you the groove that we did together. And I got to use this wah right here on that track.
We need to get some WD-40 for that wah. You've been using it quite a lot.
Yeah, is that how you fix that? You put some WD-40 in there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of WD-40. Retighten the screws. I mean, it'll last a long time.
Well, guys, there you go. I mean, I do use it all the time. You know what? As long as people can make music and be happy because of the music, that's all we care about.
Exactly. Especially here at Morley, we want to make great products that help you make great music.
Right on. So, guys, we want to wish you not only a fantastic year, but a fantastic NAMM show. There's lots of great new gear coming out. And in closing, there are things happening at Morley that cannot be yet said, but apparently there is some pretty interesting stuff going on that we will find out a little later this year. Pete, you might want to sign off with that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, thanks everyone for sticking with us and watching. And I'll just say that we have some very, very exciting things coming out this year, 2024. And I'm not just saying that where every NAMM show, hey, we got this great thing coming out. We have a couple new pedals that I think they're going to be home runs. So I'm very, very much looking forward to those. So keep an eye out. Follow us at Morley Product or Morley Pedals on Instagram. Check us out at morleyproducts.com. Stay tuned, sign up for a newsletter so you can be the first one to know about these new pedals once they come out.
Rock and roll, guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to everybody out there. Don't forget the power of utility. Utility is as important as the strings on your guitar, the pick that you hold in your hands, as important as the pedal that you are stomping on or the amp that you are plugged into, as it works side by side like the air you breathe. Rock and roll, guys. This is Momo and Pete Fenech from Morley. Dude, it's absolutely pleasure to trip out with you like usual, and I really appreciate it. And guys, we're going to leave you off with the song that we did together. And check this shit out.
Podcast.